Welcome. I thought I'd make this video. A lot of people have been making videos based on the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, and seeing as how I made a video when it was the NX, I figured I'd make one. I'm just gonna throw my Zelda watch on real quick. The Nintendo Switch. So everybody thought Nintendo was gonna come back with this system. It was gonna be the same graphical ability as the Xbox One, the PS4, or if you want to go the PlayStation Neo and the Scorpio. But this was gonna be a high quality machine. It was. Everybody said, "Oh, it's not gonna be gimmicky. You can play your games on the go, or you can go and play it at home." All these things did not add up. You can play, first off, you can play your Nintendo Switch on the go. Okay? You play it on the go. But it doesn't have a long lifespan. The frame rate is going to be down. Nintendo gave this impression that it wasn't going to be gimmicky because some of the games that they showed a couple months ago when they first announced it was you were going to have Skyrim. The new version of Skyrim is going to be on there. You're going to have these hard-hitting action games. You're going to have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I will admit that game looks really fucking awesome. But with the presentation they just did a couple days ago, that's bullshit. It was a lie. So when the Switch releases, because everybody's going to say, oh, well, they're releasing Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey is in fall of 2017. The Switch is releasing in March of 2017. All the big titles they talked about, your Fire Emblem, is not releasing. You really don't have a lot of games that are releasing. You have Splatoon 2, which I'm not a big fan of Splatoon. You have no Mario games. They're leaning everything on Zelda. They have a Switch game that reminds me of the Wii. It's called Two Side, where you fight each other with Wii remotes. Now they can call them the Joy-Cons all they want. They're Wii remotes. They're these little Wii remotes that separate, and you use those. There's also a boxing game. You talk about the Switch, and you talk about gimmicky. They're still gimmicky. There's nothing new. Yeah, the price is going to be $299 for the Nintendo Switch, but if you want extra controllers, it's like $60, $70. If you want a Pro controller, it's almost $100. They're price gouging already. You look at all the games that are coming out. There is no games besides Zelda. We're taking Zelda completely out of this. There's rumors of a Metroid game. There's Fire Emblem is coming out in 2018. But there's nothing. Now, the reason I'm going to make this, I'm not going to make it a huge rant anti-Nintendo, because I don't hate Nintendo. I just hate what they've become. If you watch this channel, you know that I have a Nintendo retrospective talking about where they went, and I have an anti-Mario video. You can't rest your morals on one character for 30 years. So let's look at the releases. When the original Nintendo released, you had 10-15 games. When Super Nintendo released, it had 10 or 15 games. N64 had a good amount of games, including Super Mario 64. The GameCube had good games to release. The Wii had a bunch of games when it released. But the Switch is not going to have games to release. You're hoping that because of the name Nintendo, that people are going to just go out and buy it. I am not going to buy a Switch. The Switch didn't entertain me. The Wii U didn't. The Wii didn't. The GameCube did not, and neither did the N64. So the last time I was really invested in a system was Super Nintendo. But the difference is, N64 had games that I would be like, yeah, I'm really interested in playing these games. GameCube, the same thing. It was good enough where I knew people that had an N64. That I knew people that had a GameCube. But, see, the Wii, when I first played it, my sister bought it. And it was alright. The Wii U, I've played it a couple times, and I don't like the tablet thing. But the Switch, I haven't heard anybody talk about that they want to buy the Switch where I live. I live in Washington, kind of in the Tacoma area, and nobody is talking about the Switch. Because it's going to be a bad system. You have the Nintendo Switch, which has barely any games to launch it. They're doing a pay service now. So now there's going to be a pay service that you got to pay for online games probably. I don't really see a lot of reasons to buy it. The controllers look fucking stupid. They're really tiny, and I got hands like that. See? These are not hands for tiny controllers. And like I would love for them to have come out and say, we have this whole list of games. Because if you look at the IPs that they still have, you can go all the way back to NES. Like, you could make another Super Mario RPG. You could make a Kid Icarus sequel. Not that crappy one that was on the 3DS. You can make another Metroid game. You could take one of your other... You could make a new Castlevania game. You could port Mega Man 9 and 10 and put them on the Switch. You could make sequels to some of your games, or just reimagine some of your games that were on the NES. You could make a faithful Kirby game and put it on there. You could make another Yoshi's Island game. They just released one for the 3DS, but they can make one for the Switch. You could finally make a real sequel to Super Mario World. That'd be cool. It's just, you have all this information, and all you want to do is do the same thing over and over again. Your budget titles, like, No More Heroes is coming out. That's like the only cool game that I really saw. Because Zelda is just Zelda. It's an open world Zelda game, and if it's on the 3DS, I'll probably play it, because I have a 3DS because I got one as a gift. But I don't actively go out there and buy Nintendo products. I really don't. It's just, I really wanted to make this video and talk about the Switch and how it's not what they said it was going to be is not what it is. They said it was going to be a more powerful system, and it does not look like a more powerful system. Yeah, you could take it on the go, but it's not really that good. When you're not going to have titles, just like the Wii U, Nintendo, this is what I think Nintendo's going to turn into. Digital and handheld. Their legacy is almost tarnished. Their legacy is not what it used to be, and I really think that if Nintendo wants to bust out, they got to start putting out more games, doing more variety, and take chances on their games. And they don't take chances on their games. They don't go for variety. They just do. They focus a lot on Mario and little kitty stuff like Splatoon, which people need to remember was an incomplete game when it came out. It was not complete. It was missing pieces to the gameplay. So this was just my thoughts, my opinions on the Nintendo Switch, and I'll make another one when it gets closer to the release of the Switch. Right now it's just another shitty game, another shitty console by Nintendo.